until a judge ordered employees back to work. Embattled San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus is reportedly suing county officials. According to the Mercury News, she says they are illegally withholding documents related to her corruption investigation. This comes after a report accused her of misconduct, harassment, which she denies. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on Pix Plus 44 Cable 12.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Well, the anniversary of one of the most devastating natural disasters to hit San Francisco, how neighbors are coming together to honor the victims and the heroes. Plus, 100 days into Daniel Lurie's time as San Francisco mayor, how the city is grading his performance.
I think for me, San Francisco still doesn't have the vibrancy of pre-COVID.
And how a local company has come up with a new way to drink wine and help our environment. Thanks for joining us. Let's get the meteorologist, Jessica Birch.
Heading into this Friday forecast, we're warming up and we're drying up, and we're going to continue to see that trend heading into this weekend, too. Upper 70s returning into the Bay Area, up into wine country in Santa Rosa and Napa this afternoon with sunny skies right around the corner. We had a cloudy morning, but it's beautiful now in our inland areas throughout this afternoon with upper 70s near Antioch, close to the 80s there. Low 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley, making for a very beautiful kickoff to the weekend. Now, heading into this weekend, day by day, we're going to continue to warm up to the point where by next Monday, we're talking about 80s in our inland areas. But for now, we're just ditching the clouds into this afternoon. Areas like Redwood City already seeing sunny skies. It's along the coast that cloudy condition just is a little bit more stubborn. But we will see sunnier skies along our shoreline into the evening hours tonight. Here's what we're gearing up for when it comes to the winds. Nice and light right now, but it does get breezier with that onshore flow, kicking up to around 20, 25 miles per hour in areas like San Francisco, Napa, over into Concord into the evening hours tonight. Here's what we're looking at as we head into this Easter weekend right around the corner. Don't stress, it's going to be a beautiful one. We're expecting upper 70s in areas like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley as early as Sunday. And that area of high pressure that's ridging its way in, that's warming us up and drying us up and giving us all the sunshine, it's sticking around as we head into early next week too. So by Monday and Tuesday of next week, we still have upper 70s and lower 80s throughout the East Bay and the North Bay, but we all cool back down into the low 60s right around the corner until late next week. You're also going to notice that for our friends along the Bay. Now, it looks a little bit different for our friends along the shoreline. Of course, cooler and cloudier conditions are expected. We'll get partly cloudy skies each day along the Bay, pulling back into the afternoon hours, exposing us to plenty of sunshine with upper 60s as early as next Tuesday.
Well, 119 years ago today, a 7.9 quake rattled San Francisco. The 1906 quake was one of the most devastating earthquakes of all time. That disaster killed more than 3,000 people, ignited fires that destroyed thousands of homes and buildings. Veronica Macias reports from Market Street, where the heroes and victims of that day are being honored.
So much going on as far as events this morning with the commemoration of the 1906 earthquake. Here at 20th and Church Street, we have the golden fire hydrant that we've had heard so many stories about, also known as the little giant here with this fire hydrant, helping take out those devastating fires that followed the earthquake. This morning, we also heard from the fire chief talk about how the chief at the time back then dying a disappointed man, knowing that the city was clamoring for their water supply. And today, San Franciscans are being assured that the city is prepared for the next major disaster. Now, let's take you to Lada's Fountain, where earlier this morning, we also had the commemoration and city leaders coming together to talk about how people came together at that fountain back in 1906 after that major earthquake, helping one another, keeping each other safe, and forming community. Those sirens you're hearing going off at 5:12 this morning. That fountain today, though, serving as a beacon of hope and reminding people in San Francisco that this city has the possibility to bounce back after hard times. Take a listen.
In his honor, in 1909, the city and county of San Francisco constructed a fantastic auxiliary water supply system that we still use today, and we're continuously building it out into our Sunset and Richmond neighborhoods and the southeast parts of the city. We are very proud of that.
This event, this commemoration, just gives me hope and inspiration. We should all have that optimism that they had after this catastrophe, because they brought it back. And we're going to bring San Francisco back again.
San Francisco, open your golden gate, let no stranger wait.
So many leaders present for the commemoration, and this is one that you truly appreciate, and it makes you love this city. You could feel the energy and the passion to get this city back on track. We also have heard from community members here who have stayed in the city, who have loved ones who have carried on those stories, and telling them that it was everyday people, community that came together after those devastating events that helped the city get back on track. And we were also reminded about the San Andres fault not resting, and we could experience the next big one. We don't know when, but we definitely are reminded that we're prepared as a city. But they're reminding you at home to also be prepared, have a plan, and talk to your family.
All right, thanks, Veronica. Well, this week, the city also honored its firefighters who have shown the same resilient spirit in helping the city bounce back, including newly appointed Fire Chief Dean Crispin.
I was a responder in 9/11 in New York City, and I learned a lot from that. One of the things that is incredible about those types of incidents is watching people come together after those incidents and help each other and find comfort in family, community.
Also honored firefighters who rushed to Los Angeles in response to the deadly Eaton and Palisades fires. Well, it's been 4 months since the earthquake in Humboldt County triggered a tsunami scare here in the Bay Area, and just a few days since that 5.2 earthquake hit the San Diego area. Today, John Goodell with the Cal OES Earthquake Early Warning Team reminding us a few extra seconds of notice can make all the difference.
And I think it's easy for us to kind of lose sight of that if we don't have any sort of seismic activity in our area. And one of the best ways that we can get prepared is to download the MyShake app. It's free and it's available in 6 different languages, and you can get those life-saving seconds of notification before you feel the shaking. So, think about all the apps that we have on our phone: entertainment, news, sports, but none of those could potentially save your life. That's why it's important to download the MyShake app, especially if you live in the Bay Area where it's a high risk for seismic activity.
Well, if you have the app, make sure you have your phone settings adjusted to receive those emergency alerts. Investigators in Florida are still trying to piece together the moments leading up to that deadly shooting at Florida State University. A gunman opened fire on campus yesterday, killing 2 people, injuring 6 others. The alleged shooter is now in custody. Skylar Henry has the latest.
Video appears to show the shooter walking across Florida State's campus Thursday afternoon, with people sprinting away as he opened fire.
The only thing that came in my head was run.
Holden Mendez said he was walking and listening to music when he heard shots ring out.
I hightailed it out of there, ran through the Union, pointed at multiple people on the way, started yelling, "Call 911, there's an active shooter."
Heavily armed police raced to the campus, encountering victims as they responded to the scene. 2 people, neither of them students, died. 6 others were hospitalized. Students who had taken shelter in lockdown classrooms were later led to safety with their hands up.
FSU police responded immediately, engaged, neutralized, and apprehended the shooter.
Law enforcement identified the suspected shooter as 20-year-old FSU student Phoenix Eichner, the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy, Jessica Eichner, who was named Employee of the Month last March. He allegedly used a handgun that was previously her service weapon.
He has been steeped in the Leon County Sheriff's Office family, engaged in a number of training programs that we have. So it's not a surprise to us that he had access to weapons.
I was in shock. I was like, I know this kid.
FSU sophomore Laney Montgomery grew up in the same neighborhood as the gunman. They went to middle and high school together. Our cameras were there as police went to his childhood home.
He was very isolated. He was just very odd. I don't believe he had many friends.
In the wake of Thursday's shooting, FSU canceled classes through the end of the week, and its president promised to support students through what he called a deeply emotional time.
We're a strong and united community. We're family, and so we'll take care of all of you. And we'll get through this together.
As of late Thursday evening, police say the 6 victims who are in the hospital were listed in fair condition. So 2 is Eichner. Now, we spoke with 2 of Eichner's former classmates who say that he used to go by Christian Erickson. As of now, it is unclear as to why he changed his name to Phoenix Eichner.
Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, Mayor Lurie marks 100 days of his administration. What one former mayor is saying about his performance so far.
I'm envious of it because I don't think my first 100 days went as smoothly.
Plus, a San Francisco DJ mixing his Arab heritage with modern dance tracks.
It's fun, it's cultural, it's high energy.
How he's drawing from his roots to create a global movement. And we'll meet the San Mateo bookstore owner who has to close up shop and move after his efforts to save the city's downtown worked a little too well.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
Well, sunny skies and warm weather, that's what we're gearing up for just in time for Easter weekend. Right around the corner. I mean, even this afternoon, we're seeing sunny skies, mid-70s in the forecast in our inland areas. It's like a copy and paste each day as we head into Saturday and Sunday. And if you like that weather, wait till Monday of next week. If you have Monday off, we're gearing up for 80s in the forecast. So try taking advantage of that. Heading outside, finding a new trail in your local community. It's going to be a beautiful one for us, widespread throughout our inland areas. And along the bay, we're also gearing up for upper 60s and lower 70s each day.
Well, it's officially been 100 days in office for San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie.
For the first time in 5 years, people feel San Francisco is headed in the right direction.
Well, the mayor delivered a progress report yesterday at the San Francisco's Conservatory of Music. He highlighted his work toward delivering safe and clean streets and tackling the fentanyl crisis, with more targeted services and operations to crack down on open-air drug markets. He also touted an increase in shelter beds and a drop in street encampments and said car break-ins are at a 22-year low. But he admitted there's more work to do.
I'm out every day walking alongside San Franciscans, listening to their concerns. What I've learned in these first 100 days is you can't solve what you can't see. And I'm going to keep walking and talking to people each and every day until public safety and public faith is restored.
Mayor Lurie also talked about revitalizing downtown, pointing to a 50% surge in convention bookings, and Zara opening up a flagship store in Union Square. Mayor also projects 80 new AI office leases. He also promised to build more housing, among his plans allowing for taller buildings along transit routes all across the city. And Lurie was also proud that even Charles Barkley, a known San Francisco hater, recently invested in the city with a $250,000 donation to Glide Memorial Church. But are the improvements noticeable? Lauren Toms heard from some San Francisco residents and a former mayor.
Former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown says there's no comparing Mayor Daniel Lurie's start to his own early days in City Hall.
I'm envious of it because I don't think my first 100 days went as smoothly. I don't think that my first 100 days had the kind of luck he's had.
100 days into office, Lurie is riding a wave of momentum after an upset victory over incumbent Mayor London Breed back in November. But Brown, a fixture of city politics, says Lurie's early gains are built on foundations laid before him.
I don't see great evidence of an increase in personnel because you can't produce it that quickly. He's entitled, however, to take credit for the numbers. But those numbers were not 4 months. Those numbers go all the way back to whatever was put in place year and a half ago. That's now working.
On Inauguration Day, Lurie vowed to clean up San Francisco streets, reduce crime, and fast-track housing. But not every promise fits into a 100-day timeline.
Building new housing, not possible. Starting a police department all over, not possible. All those kinds of things are not possible.
San Francisco native Kimberly says Lurie's policies are making gains, but not without some controversy.
I think a lot of things that shunned away people was the crime and just the homelessness and the public drug use. And now it's something that is not visible, but I've also noticed it has moved on to different neighborhoods.
According to SFPD, citywide crime is down 30% compared to the same time period last year, but not everyone feels the drop.
Well, I just bought a new bike because mine got stolen a couple days ago, so I don't know if crime is any better, but at least petty theft. But I've personally felt safe since I've moved here.
Others, like Assad, say the city feels different, but they're holding out for something more.
Like, it's only been 100 days, so I think it's like what he's done is like a good start. I think for me, San Francisco still doesn't have the vibrancy of pre-COVID, so that's like one thing that I see is still missing.
That vibrancy, Lurie says, is next. He's touted plans to reinvent the city's nightlife and make it one that runs 24/7. And for Mayor Brown, who's been in his shoes, the early praise comes with a dose of perspective.
It always is a honeymoon in the first term. By the second term, the honeymoon will be over.
A city grateful for change, but with a close eye on what's to come.
Next big challenge ahead of Mayor Lurie, a nearly $1 billion budget deficit. Well, April marks Arab Heritage Month, and we want to introduce you to a Bay Area DJ who's creating a global movement, fusing modern top 40 songs with Arabic hits. Lorene Ayub has more.
He's connecting global diaspora communities through the power of music. I'm at Empire Studios, where DJ Habib Beats is shaping a cross-cultural sound that's reflecting movement, memory, and a sense of belonging. The gatherings are called Habibi's House, which in Arabic means my love. But truth be told, it's a house for everyone. DJ Habib Beats, also known as Ibrahim Abu Ali, is a Bay Area native spearheading a booming cultural movement, blending Middle Eastern sounds with countless cultural mixes.
Growing up, I listened to everything. I was a big hip hop head. I was really big into Arabic music because my parents are immigrants. And, you know, that was a big part of our culture and our community.
Recently signed with Empire, the DJ and artist credits his San Francisco upbringing as the foundation for his creative path. And now, as a first-generation Palestinian American, he is rallying the broad pan-Arab community to connect the sounds of the East with the diversity of the West.
Mixing it with African, Brazilian, Latin, American styles of music. It's fun, it's cultural, it's high energy, and it's a big mix of like different types of genres and energies.
Ibrahim says growing up in the U.S. in a post-9/11 world, he felt the pressure of negative stereotypes firsthand. But he believes the newer generation is awakening to a broader understanding of the region.
I could just notice the shift. When I was a kid, like Middle Eastern culture and music and everything about that was not cool, or was not thought of as cool. I knew it was cool, but it wasn't thought of as cool maybe, and it wasn't thought of as something I think people that weren't from the culture wanted to engage with.
But Western culture was engaging, just behind the scenes. The influence Middle Eastern music has had on mainstream pop hits is vast. From Jay-Z's Big Pimpin' to Mark Anthony's Vivir Mi Vida. Now, as the DJ aims to unite diverse communities together through the universal language of music, he says the most meaningful part of the journey has been allowing often misunderstood cultures feel included.
Most of all, what I feel from people is a recognition of being seen and a recognition of representation and feeling not like they're the odd one out.
Because at Habibi's house, the beat is all about love.
And still ahead, we'll introduce you to a longtime bookstore owner who has to turn a new page, how he helped San Mateo's downtown recovery, then ended up getting pushed out.
Yeah, a lot of my customers have indicated that they will be following us.
Never give up, baby.
just around lunchtime today. Those clouds pull back along the coast, exposing all of us to sunshine, and then we're just seeing cloudy conditions along the peninsula until around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. At that point, even our coastline is dealing with nice, warm, sunny conditions. And heading into this afternoon, the only thing to mention, we're getting some gustier winds pushing in from offshore. If you have plans of doing a coastal run or just getting out there and getting some fresh air, keep in mind we could see wind gusts up to around 25 miles per hour by dinner time tonight in areas like San Francisco, stretched all the way over into Concord and up into Napa too. You take a look at the next 7 days. This is what we're gearing up for. Sunny skies this afternoon, lasting into this weekend's forecast and early next week for our inland areas. We have upper 70s turning into lower 80s as early as Monday, the day after Easter. So we're in store for such a beautiful and warm forecast. You make your way over into the bay, okay, a little bit cooler, a little bit cloudier, but not by much. I mean, we're still going to be exposed to sunshine each afternoon. We're just seeing partly cloudy skies in the mornings for Saturday and Sunday. By Monday, if you have that day off after Easter, it's going to be a stunning one to get outside and get some fresh air.
While San Francisco still has a way to go with its downtown recovery plan, San Mateo has already bounced back in a big way. A local bookstore owner played a key role in that recovery, but now downtown San Mateo is doing so well, can't afford to stay open there. As Max Darrow explains, he's already got a plan B for B Street Books.
In business for 16 years in San Mateo, there are many chapters of B Street Books' story. And in the one currently being written, there's a lot to unpack and a lot for Lewis Cohen to pack up.
Well, we have 40,000 books to pack up.
He's made the tough decision to leave downtown San Mateo, not for a lack of business, but rather the surrounding business boom.
It's tough.
He says the building changed hands before the end of his lease. He's been month to month ever since, and the landlord upped his rent.
Like triple what we're paying. It's just not in the cards. I really like the store, but I wasn't going to go bankrupt to try and pay the landlord.
But there's a tricky plot twist to this story. Cohen has been an active business leader in downtown San Mateo's post-pandemic revitalization efforts.
It is ironic that we've been a part of making things better and bringing things back after COVID, and now we're having to move because we can't afford the rent.
It's tough for Mackenzie Jacobic, the executive director of the Downtown San Mateo Association, to see B Street Books say goodbye.
I mean, mostly sadness. It's going to be missed quite a bit, and Lou himself will be very missed.
That said, she says the downtown landscape is changing.
There's nostalgia here, but there's also progress.
The city saw the completion of one major development in the last few years, and several more are currently in the works. And within the last week or so, she says multiple new restaurants and retail spaces opened up.
We don't have a ton of vacancies. I asked the city the other day, and they said we have about 3%. Any other buildings you see that are empty are due for redevelopment.
The story doesn't end here for B Street Books. Cohen says he's relocating the shop to Burlingame.
Yeah, a lot of my customers have indicated that they will be following us.
He was able to get a deal for a long-term lease at a rate that worked for everyone involved.
I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to do well there.
Gina McNutt, Cohen's co-author to this chapter, is eager to help write the next one.
It's exciting. There's obviously a lot to be doing in the next couple weeks.
While some people in his position could have seen this as the end of the story, Cohen wasn't ready to call it the final chapter.
It is a labor of love.
So for now, he'll close this one with, "To be continued."
B Street Books is closing its doors in San Mateo for the final time this Monday, April 21st. Their new Burlingame location on Burlingame Avenue, right off of El Camino Real, is set to open early next month. Coming up our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, Santa Rosa Mall has an interesting new tenant. We'll give you a tour of the brand new police substation with a strategic location.
We have our downtown enforcement team has these Zero motorcycles. So these are electric motorcycles.
Plus, while car break-ins in San Francisco may be at a 22-year low, we're going to take you to the business that's still suffering despite the reported progress. Ryan Yamamoto, and this is the Minute. A San Jose fire captain faces drug and burglary charges. This comes after police discovered drug evidence at a fire department had been tampered with. The investigation led to the arrest of Mark Malem. They believe drugs may have been stolen from up to 16 other fire stations. Teachers in Oakland have begun voting on whether to stage a one-day strike on May 1st. Union leaders say there is a lack of transparency for the school district over its finances. The district says it's committed to open communication. Teachers now have until next Friday to vote. Lauren Taylor currently has a slim lead over former Congresswoman Barbara Lee, but with ranked choice voting, those results could change quickly. The registrar's office will update the numbers around 5 p.m. today. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8, 9 p.m. on Pix Plus 44 Cable 12. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Heading into this Friday forecast, we're warming up and we're drying up, and we're going to continue to see that trend heading into this weekend, too. Upper 70s returning into the Bay Area, up into wine country in Santa Rosa and Napa this afternoon with sunny skies right around the corner. We had a cloudy morning, but it's beautiful now in our inland areas throughout this afternoon with upper 70s near Antioch, close to the 80s there. Low 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley, making for a very beautiful kickoff to the weekend. Now, heading into this weekend, day by day, we're going to continue to warm up to the point where by next Monday, we're talking about 80s in our inland areas. But for now, we're just ditching the clouds into this afternoon. Areas like Redwood City already seeing sunny skies. It's along the coast that cloudy condition just is a little bit more stubborn. But we will see sunnier skies along our shoreline into the evening hours tonight. Here's what we're gearing up for when it comes to the winds. Nice and light right now, but it does get breezier with that onshore flow, kicking up to around 20, 25 miles per hour in areas like San Francisco, Napa, over into Concord into the evening hours tonight. Here's what we're looking at as we head into this Easter weekend right around the corner. Don't stress, it's going to be a beautiful one. We're expecting upper 70s in areas like the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley as early as Sunday. And that area of high pressure that's ridging its way in, that's warming us up and drying us up and giving us all the sunshine, it's sticking around as we head into early next week too. So by Monday and Tuesday of next week, we still have upper 70s and lower 80s throughout the East Bay and the North Bay, but we all cool back down into the low 60s right around the corner until late next week. You're also going to notice that for our friends along the bay. Now, it looks a little bit different for our friends along the shoreline. Of course, cooler and cloudier conditions are expected. We'll get partly cloudy skies each day along the bay, pulling back into the afternoon hours, exposing us to plenty of sunshine with upper 60s as early as next Tuesday.
4 teenagers are in custody in Santa Rosa. Police say they stabbed someone waiting at a bus stop. Investigators say the teens tried to rob 2 other teens near Boyd Street and Hickory Circle. Witnesses say they were shouting gang-related threats and a fight broke out. A 15-year-old was stabbed multiple times, but is expected to survive. Police say there's no evidence the victims were connected to a gang. Santa Rosa police have put a lot of effort into preventing violence among young people and being more visible in the community. In fact, they've opened up a new police substation at a place where a lot of people hang out, the mall. Our Suji Nam gives us a tour.
Santa Rosa Police Chief John Cregan is taking us inside the new police substation, located by the lower level entrance in the Santa Rosa Plaza.
We have nice computers here, and this is where our officers for our downtown enforcement team can come here. They can do their work of writing reports, of being able to access evidence and book evidence, be able to look at any type of investigative work they're doing.
The downtown enforcement team of 8 police officers and 1 sergeant is now working here in the mornings and evenings. Chief Cregan says they will have more visible presence and rapid response calls in the neighborhood.
Some of that rapid response we have right here. We have our downtown enforcement team has these Zero motorcycles. See, these are electric motorcycles that we can go on our trails throughout Santa Rosa.
This new substation is a little over a mile away from police headquarters. The chief says his downtown beat officers and patrol officers will be working at the substation as well.
Santa Rosa is changing, and that's for the positive, and we're seeing that, and our downtown enforcement team has been a key element to that success.
Chief Cregan says the downtown enforcement team receives general public safety calls, including concerns about homelessness. District 5 City Council member Caroline Banuelo says this new substation will help provide resources for those in need.
It's a great step toward community policing, and I think that's really what policing should be all about.
She adds that it's a step forward in public-private partnerships across the city, having heightened security presence at the mall in the heart of downtown.
This is also showing the community that, it's great for you to come here. The, law enforcement is right here if you need anything, but also, you can shop, very comfortably and know that, any problems will be taken care of probably quickly.
And the police chief says while his officers are already working in the back, it's a work in progress up front behind these double doors.
Our vision is to put a desk right here in this area and to be able to have a desk, and we would have either one of our volunteers in policing or community service officer. We'd have the doors open here so members who are walking by here at the plaza would be able to come in and get resources. We're going to put a host of different pamphlets and resources from the city.
Chief Cregan is optimistic his new substation will bring positive change to the community and let neighbors know that they are there for them.
And while San Francisco's Mayor Lurie touts success so far from his first 100 days in office, he admits there's still a lot of work to do in tackling public safety concerns. He said car break-ins are at a 22-year low in the city. That may be good news, but it's having an unintended consequence. Where Kelsey Thorne shares how one San Francisco business is suffering from the reported progress.
For a long time, this had become synonymous with the city of San Francisco itself. Car break-ins. Whether you lived here or were just visiting, it seemed the risk was always top of mind.
And they took us our passports, my computer.
But just last month, SFPD said the city was seeing a swing in the right direction.
Last year, with Prop E and the availability of new technologies that we got our hands on, including the flock cameras and our drone program and more access to surveillance video technology, that has been a game changer.
It's not just police talking about the drop.
Yeah, I mean, I live pretty close to the Civic Center. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen anything, at least towards like the Hayes Valley, Alamo Square area. So it's been pleasant in that sense.
It's good news for almost everyone, but for some people like Victor Perez, who owns Twin Brothers Auto Glass, who was making a living from cleaning up after crime.
Used to be one day busy 8 to 10 windows.
But lately,
maybe like 40% down.
It's led Victor to rethink his business model.
That one we do radio, speakers, and this one is 2 windows only. And this one behind you is gonna be the windshield only.
Now he's just trying to stay positive and do what he can to stay open.
I hope it's gonna be okay, I don't know when, but it's gonna be okay.
Well, that's not the only thing hurting Victor's bottom line. He says he's feeling pressure from the recent wave of new tariffs and that they're already driving up his costs for parts. Gas prices across the country decreased 5 cents since last week, according to the AAA. The national average price for a gallon of regular was about $3.16 as of Thursday. But as usual, Californians are paying more than the rest of the country. According to AAA in San Francisco, the average is $5.04. In Oakland, it's $4.96. It's $4.93 in San Jose. Up next, out with the glass, in with the cardboard. We're going to take you inside a California wine company using a revolutionary green technique to bottle their wine.
In the Bay Area, a new WNBA franchise is taking flight. Catch this first-in-a-lifetime inaugural season as the Golden State Valkyries play live on KPIX and Pix Plus.
Well, sunny skies and warm weather, that's what we're gearing up for just in time for Easter weekend. Right around the corner. I mean, even this afternoon, we're seeing sunny skies, mid-70s in the forecast in our inland areas. It's like a copy and paste each day as we head into Saturday and Sunday. And if you like that weather, wait till Monday of next week. If you have Monday off, we're gearing up for 80s in the forecast. So try taking advantage of that. Heading outside, finding a new trail in your local community. It's going to be a beautiful one for us, widespread throughout our inland areas. And along the bay, we're also gearing up for upper 60s and lower 70s each day.
Well, the federal government plans to impose new port fees on Chinese cargo ships, including vessels that arrive at the port of Oakland. The Trump administration says the goal is to revive American shipbuilding. The new fees will be based on a measurement called net tonnage. The plan calls for Chinese-built and owned ships to pay $50 a net ton starting in October. The rating will increase by $30 a year per net ton for the next 3 years. Chinese officials argue the fees will disrupt the global shipping industry and lead to price hikes in the U.S. More consumers are embracing and choosing sustainable packaging. That's especially true for baby boomers, millennials, and Gen Z. Now new wine bottles made out of recycled paper are on store shelves. As Ann Makovic reports, in the U.S., they are made in our own backyard.
With great soil and a cool climate, Monterey County is the perfect place to grow wine grapes. Here, hundreds of vineyards use environmentally friendly methods to produce exceptional vintages.
Bonnie Doon's always been a pioneer, really pushing the boundaries of sustainability and farming practices, whether that's organic, biodynamic.
Sustainability has been one of our core values since our family founded this business in 1972. We've always just believed very heavily that, you need to treat your vineyards well, your land well.
Now winemakers have a greener way to package their wine. This device created in the UK is called a frugal pack. It creates wine bottles out of recycled paper.
We describe them as a wonderful, sustainable option in the wine packaging world.
Shannon Valadares is with the Monterey Wine Company. It is the only place in the United States with a frugal pack.
The response has been excellent. I think the retailers have really stood behind this concept and said, this is what we want.
Making and transporting glass wine bottles requires a lot of fossil fuel, which creates a lot of carbon.
When you think about the weight of traditional wine bottles and that glass and what goes into making the glass, blowing the glass, transporting that glass, there's a huge carbon footprint there.
We sell to 30 countries internationally, and so having a lighter weight bottle and one that has less environmental impact is really great from start to finish.
The process starts with flat cardboard covered in art.
The wonderful thing about this bottle is the entire canvas is your label.
A plastic insert will hold the wine. The device then pinches, folds, and molds the paper into a bottle. The contraption can make up to 500 bottles an hour.
We feed the line.
Those bottles are then filled with wine and packed in boxes.
This is half the weight of a product that is made with glass.
For the winemakers, they are raising a glass.
Boy, this is awesome. I really hope that customers in the stores, that they get it, because it's kind of different.
And it's a start. It's something that we I think collectively have to be thinking about. How can we make an impact that's better for our planet?
You can now find these wines at places like Target and Whole Foods, uncorking the future of wine right here in Monterey.
Well, last year, King Charles honored Frugal Pack with the most prestigious business award in the United Kingdom. The company was given the King's Award for Enterprise, in this case for his innovation in sustainable packaging. Coming up, two music historians are making their way across the Bay Area trying to solve a mystery 6 days later.
It's not just a long, strange trip, it's a wild, strange story.
Inside the journey, tracing the origins of the Grateful Dead.
just around lunchtime today, those clouds pull back along the coast, exposing all of us to sunshine. And then we're just seeing cloudy conditions along the peninsula until around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. At that point, even our coastline is dealing with nice, warm, sunny conditions. And heading into this afternoon, the only thing to mention, we're getting some gustier winds pushing in from offshore. If you have plans of doing a coastal run or just getting out there and getting some fresh air, keep in mind we could see wind gusts up to around 25 miles per hour by dinner time tonight in areas like San Francisco, stretched all the way over into Concord and up into Napa too. You take a look at the next 7 days. This is what we're gearing up for. Sunny skies this afternoon, lasting into this weekend's forecast and early next week for our inland areas. We have upper 70s turning into lower 80s as early as Monday, the day after Easter. So we're in store for such a beautiful and warm forecast. You make your way over into the bay, okay, a little bit cooler, a little bit cloudier, but not by much. I mean, we're still going to be exposed to sunshine each afternoon. We're just seeing partly cloudy skies in the mornings for Saturday and Sunday. By Monday, if you have that day off after Easter, it's going to be a stunning one to get outside and get some fresh air.
Well, it's hard to believe it's already been nearly 10 years since this video was taken. That day in Chicago, the 4 surviving members of legendary Bay Area band, the Grateful Dead, took the stage for the final time. And it's been a mystery as to where the band's first concert was actually performed. That's where a pair of music fans turned sleuths come in. Len Ramirez has their story as they try to solve a music mystery.
It's all part of the great mystery. It's the long, strange trip, right, Mark? Yeah,
Dan Orloff and Mark Purdy are rock fans and South Bay rock historians, and they've spent 2 decades trying to solve a 60-year-old mystery. Where in San Jose did one of rock's greatest bands have their first ever performance as the Grateful Dead? They thought they had it pinpointed here, where 5th Street now dead ends at San Jose City Hall.
Which would be right over there behind these walls, and actually on the side of the current San Jose City Council chambers.
It was December 4th, 1965. The group had just changed their name from the Warlocks to the Grateful Dead, and a friend, counterculture figure Ken Kesey, invited them to play at a house party where he was holding one of his infamous psychedelic acid tests. Purdy, a former sports columnist for the Mercury News, interviewed people who said they were there, and it was inside this large Victorian house.
And for years, that was the accepted thing.
The house once stood at 43 South 5th Street. It was moved in the early 2000s to St. John Street to make way for City Hall. But now a potential rock relic has just surfaced, putting a sour note on the story that it happened here. It is a handmade crayon poster for the acid test party, which was just put up for auction by an anonymous owner who said she removed it from a nearby telephone pole on the night of the party. But the poster lists the party location as 38 South 5th Street, not 43, and the house at 38 burned down decades ago. Dan and Mark have been analyzing photocopies of the original poster ever since it reemerged.
I caught it first because of a news feed. Yeah. And I was like really happy. Oh my God, after 20 years, we're going to see the poster that commemorated 43 South 5th as the acid test.
This is actual physical evidence.
8 seconds later, I see 38, and I called Mark, oh, C-R-A-P, right? And then the journey began. Yeah.
Mark went back to the drawing board and compared old city aerial photos with modern-day maps to see where 38 would have stood. And he literally marched off the plot lines to verify, to his relief, that the new location was still within the City Hall Plaza.
I'm still unraveling the mystery of why the poster says that, and everyone seems to say here, including somebody I've interviewed who was actually at the party.
But what could possibly account for the 2 conflicting locations?
I want to be kind in how I say this. This is 60 years ago, and people were taking LSD.
Even though the 2 houses were once across the street from each other and both locations are still at City Hall, getting the location right matters to rock history and legions of deadheads.
I encourage anyone who was there that night and remembers anything to come forward and give us more information.
It is a mystery Dan and Mark would like to finally solve soon. Dan is the founder of San Jose Rocks, a rock history group which is now raising money for an historical marker to be dedicated this December 4th, the 60th anniversary of the party and the performance by the Grateful Dead.
It's not just a long, strange trip, it's a wild, strange story. and probably incorporated 43.
The only question is a big one. Where exactly did the trip begin?
Maybe it was in both houses.
It was 60 years ago, and everyone was using LSD. All right, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back to your first alert forecast and a look at your top stories.